Hi, Debbie Giaquindo, the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess, and welcome to Uncork Your Mind. Today I sit down with David Sheldon. He's the owner of Hampton Roads Winery in Surry County, Virginia. And he also wrote the book, You Can Wine Too. It's all about the triumphs and tribulations of starting a winery, all the way from deciding where you're going to look for land to start a winery, to buying your first tractor, to digging your first hole to plant your first vines. It's really interesting because, so often the triumphs and tribulations on how people get to where they are often overlooked. And you go in and you see the final product, but it really does take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get there. So without further ado, here's the podcast. Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. How's the weather down there?
Cold.
Did you get frost yet?
Well, we've had a light frost, not a killer frost.
Okay, that's good. So, well, thank you for joining me. I know you're busy. Are you done with harvest?
No, we're still plugging along. We're probably going to be picking for another week or two.
Oh, wow.
Well, the thing is, we have 8 or 9 varieties of grapes, and they all come in at a different
Right.
time. And when you have muscadines, they take all October to pick.
Oh, wow. Well, good. So, we ready to move forward?
Ready?
And I'll do it live. It's going to take, once I hit the live button, it's going to take like 15 seconds, and then we'll be live. Do you want me to call you Dave or David?
I respond to everything but a whistle.
Okay, sounds good. And 1, 2, 3, here we go. There we go. I was starting to worry. That was a long 15 seconds. But welcome to Uncork Your Mind. I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. And with me today is David Sheldon, and he owns Hampton Roads Winery down in Surry County, Virginia. And he wrote this book, You Can Wine Too. And I'm here to talk to him about the triumphs and tribulations of starting a winery, from everything from deciding that you're going to do it to finding the place you're going to do it in and bringing it online and being successful. So I have to tell you, I really enjoyed the book.
Oh, you read it?
Of course I read it. If I got to interview you, I got to read it. I got to know what I'm talking about. But
That's good.
yes, but I have to tell you, I was like Green Acres. That's what I thought of. Did you ever watch Green Acres?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That ages me, yes.
Yes. Well, me too. So farm living is the life for me. So that when you were going through all the different things, I thought, oh my God, this is Green Acres. We're dealing with a winery. Well, the same thing. He was on a farm, so it really is the same. It's similar.
Well, that's right. We're a farm winery, so that's true.
Yeah, you have the cows. You had the cows and the pigs and all that stuff too.
Yep.
So I want to get started. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I think I'm long past my midlife crisis. I ended up having a plastics factory up in Massachusetts. I did that for 25 or so years. My wife, Diane, was a research chemist at Brigham and Women's Hospital up in Boston for the greater part of that time. And when we decided to retire, we decided that the one thing we had in common was we enjoyed wine. So at that point, we decided to start looking for land and trying to decide where a winery would go. And we sort of thought that Virginia would be a good place. And coming from New England, we believed that it would probably be a little bit longer growing season. And we were dead wrong. So as we relocated in Virginia and finally found some land and put some grapes on it, we realized quite quickly that the heat and humidity was going to be a major factor on how we grew grapes and when we picked our grapes. So the season down here in Virginia is actually about a month less than it is up in Massachusetts.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. Now, I'm not talking Western Virginia, by the
Right.
Ridge Mountain.
Right,
It's
no.
about the same. But where we are in the Tidewater region, close to east of Richmond, close to Williamsburg, Virginia Beach, the heat and humidity determine when we pick.
Interesting.
And hurricanes do too, by the way.
Yeah. So, what made you decide Virginia? Why not like New York or Delaware, Maryland? Every state has a wine region, but.
Well, I'll give you a twofold answer. One was the one I just talked about. We thought our growing season was going to be longer. Diane and I, neither of us are snowbirds, so we couldn't wait to get away from the snow. I am probably the only person in Surry County that owns a snowblower because I refused to sell it for a steal, so I brought it down here and I keep walking around it all the time. And then the answer that I give that Diane doesn't really appreciate is the fact that it's about as far away from all relatives as we could get. So if relatives were going to visit us, we'd at least have a 5-hour warning. So,
and they wouldn't just drop in.
That's right. They're just not going to drop in.
Right. So that's how you landed in Surry County. And how hard was it to find a plot of land? Because I know, you had realtor looking and there was a lot of different places that you looked. How did you decide on, and you had one plot of land and then you got another with the barn, so.
Well, I'll tell you, if anybody does any real research in this business, especially when it comes to the ideal place to put a vineyard, all right, they're talking well-drained soil, they're talking southerly facing slopes. They've got this myriad of things on the list that you should check for the perfect location for a vineyard. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you're planning on getting that perfect location, you're still looking, all right? Because those spots aren't out there unless you've got a ton of money you want to throw out. So you're pretty much a victim of what's available in sort of the location you want to be at. Now, with that being said, I broke all those rules, and we have soil that is a mix of sandy loam, which is well drained, but we got other high silt content soil here, and we've got land that has a water table that's about 6 inches under the surface. All right, so we kind of blew the well-drained soil idea. Okay, and our land here is as flat as a pancake. So what you want to do as you find that piece of land, the land that just becomes available when you really want to pull the trigger and sign that check, is you have to accept what you've got and try to adapt to it and decide what grapevines, what grapes can you grow in that region and with that soil. And that was a learning experience for us.
You had your soil tested and everything to find out?
Yeah, we did all that stuff, and of course it was depleted in all the right nutrients because it had been row farmed for years and years and years. And the farmers here, especially if they lease land, they don't put a lot of money into raising, the nutrient content, the pH and all that stuff. But yeah, we did do the soil testing, but we also relied heavily on Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has a very good viticultural program. as does Cornell and as does USC. And we relied heavily on their input as far as what to expect, what grapes to grow, that kind of thing. And one of the things I learned the hard way, and as I mentioned in the book, there are no easy lessons in this business,
right,
is that they're giving you the best information they have, but unfortunately it's based on what they have experienced and where they are. And the Virginia Tech Research Lab is in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It is associated with 290 wineries out of 300 in the state of Virginia. Right? I'm one of the 10, okay, that they're not associated with. So all they could do is relate to their experience there, which was, oh, you ought to grow, Chardonnay, you ought to grow Viognier, you ought to grow Norton. They would give you the state grape is Viognier, you ought to grow that, kind of thing. And so we ended up planting based on what they recommended, only to find out that heat and humidity does not serve certain grape varieties well, and nor does a high water table. So we ended up, as the years went by, and we're close to 15 years now into growing grapes, 15 to 18 years, and there are certain varieties we have just pushed to the wayside, and other varieties we really expanded upon because they do grow well here. That's how we sort of got into what we have as far as the vineyard is concerned.
So trial and error based on your terroir.
That's
you
right.
know.
That's
So did you pretty much set like a standard for that area for grape growing on what thrives and what was not successful? Or is this, or is the soil content and stuff, do you have a lot of microclimates throughout?
There is, and as you get closer to the Atlantic Ocean, there's certain microclimates over there that are different than we are here. I'm not sure setting the standard is the right way to describe it. Yes, we can tell people what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
But this is a horrible region, for growing, French style grapes. So the person that wants to start a winery across the street from me, I'm going to sit there and say, well, God bless you if you think you're going to go this, and this.
Right.
But I'd love to have you next door.
So once you decided you got the land and you're gonna, plant your vineyard and stuff, how did you begin? Like, you went to Virginia Tech, and then you buy your equipment. You started digging holes, all that kind of stuff.
All of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can't really go to a winery depot like you go to Home Depot and say I need a ditch digger for the vines. I need this type of tractor. I need a sprayer.
Well, I think we recognized from the time we bought the land, and we bought 35 acres, of which we could convert almost 20 acres of it to grapevines if we wanted to. Right now there's about 14 acres converted in that first vineyard we set up. We picked the land and started doing the planning and the layouts and all of that stuff, recognizing that the following spring, which was 5 or 6 or 7 months away at that point, we want to start planting. Okay, and that's when we picked Virginia Tech's brains as far as what we ought to be planting. That's when we sort of decided what equipment we needed and went out and started purchasing this stuff. Now, when it comes to growing grapevines, it's like watching paint dry. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right. For French grapevines, it takes 4 or 5 years to ever get to a commercial level harvest. So during these 5 years, I was commuting between Massachusetts and here because I had my factory up in Massachusetts. I was commuting back and forth. to figure out what to do. And I'd be down here, a week a month and 2 weeks a month, planning it out and laying it out and buying equipment and that kind of stuff. Once the grapes were in the ground, like I said, the first year I was down here 1 week a month. The second year, 2 weeks a month. Third year, 3 weeks a month. After 4 years, I said, there's only 4.3 weeks in a month. I might as well sell the business and stay down here. And it's a good thing because, as you get into that third and fourth year, it starts taking an awful lot of personal time between the weeding and the spraying and the pruning and that kind of stuff before you actually get to the point where, hey, now I can really pick grapes.
Right.
So, like I said, I went back and forth. And Diane, because she's a chemist, was, she was kind of anointed the winemaker responsibility. So she didn't have to be down here during those first 4 or 5 years. So she came down quite frequently, but she had to start mentally putting together, the winery aspect of this.
Right.
Like I said, watching grapes grow is a very slow process.
Yeah.
And you just watch them grow, and you do the best you can at the time.
So once you decided, oh my gosh, we got to make something with these grapes this year. I remember that in the book. It was like, oh my God, we got to do something. It was like year 4 into it or something like that.
Right.
Did you have any disasters, or did you nail it the first time, or?
I can't list the number of disasters we had. We had I would say a warped idea. Let's just say warped, okay? As far as what we were going to do from a winery point of view. This particular plot of land had a little service barn. We said, gee, maybe we can convert the service barn to be a mini winery kind of thing. And it also had a carport right next to the house that say, okay, we can close this off and air condition it, all of this stuff. And we brought in some wine equipment, a lot of tanks, a press, destemmer, that kind of stuff. And the first year we ended up getting a humongous amount of grapes. We almost had like 5 tons of grapes the first year. And we're going through the process. I mean, how hard can this be? Okay, and then we did the whole process manually and still do an awful lot manually. And our feeling was, don't worry, no matter what we do, the high alcohol level will kill anything. So we ended up making probably close to 1,000 liters of Norton wine. Norton is a Virginia grape identified by Dr. Norton out of Richmond, Virginia. It is a very high acid grape. On our soil, it grew fantastic. All the stories were about how someone brought a bottle of this to some big French showdown and it won hands down over the Bordeaux varieties, blah, 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 blah. So we ended up making this. And we're crushing it and pressing it in the fall. Figured, okay, we're going to go and we're going to bottle this in the spring and we'll be off to the races. Well, little did we know, and again, it was another harsh reality of Virginia weather, is that it doesn't get cold here right away. In fact, like I said earlier, we've only had a light frost, but we still have 70, 80 degree days here left going into November. And you take a 80 degree day pounding its sun on a carport, I don't care what kind of air conditioner you got, you've got an environment where you could probably lose weight with a sweatsuit in it. I mean, it is warm. And I'm not saying our brand new Norton wine bubbled and boiled, but it got pretty harsh. It got pretty hot. So when the spring came around and we're all ready to bottle this stuff, we took one taste of this and, oh my God, I wouldn't even give this to my worst enemy.
Oh no. Oh no.
And we had put so much time and effort in this.
So did you take it to maybe back to Virginia Tech for get analyzed to see what you did wrong, so you knew what to correct?
Well, I think we knew what we did.
Oh, okay.
Trying to ferment and age your wine in a sauna, it was not.
Okay, because it was hot. It wasn't cool. Got it.
That's
Got
right.
it. So you cooked the wine. Mm-hmm.
At that point, we got together and said, we better be serious about this. Okay, so you read more and you read more, and you ask a lot of questions to remember we'll at least answer them. And we decided that the carport really wasn't the best place to make wine. All right, so we decided that we'd better find a place somewhere, even if we have to build it from scratch, to put up a winery, because we're going to get more grapes whether we want it or not. Mm-hmm. All right, so at that moment, I got hold of a local realtor and explained to her our problem, our newest problem, and I gave her some minor criteria. I said, okay, I'd like the new location to be in Surry if I can. I don't want to drive an hour to get there.
Right.
I'd like it to have some farmland so we can extend our vineyard on it. And maybe one or two other little things. And I sent her off to look for this piece of property. And I would say, I'm not sure what the book says, but I think I remember maybe a month later, she called me up and said, I got exactly the perfect piece of property for you. I said, okay, tell me about it. She says, well, it's got 40 acres. I said, okay, good. And she says, well, it's got a good 12 to 15 acres. You're putting grapevines on it. I said, okay, good. Still in Surry, right on a numbered road, so it should get plenty of traffic. I said, okay, good. And then she says, it's got a problem. I said, right. Well, what's the problem? And she says, it's got a house. I says, I don't need another house. I don't want to spend the money for another house. I already got a house on the first property. And she says, Dave, it's priced to sell. Just go look at it. So I jumped in the car. I followed her directions. I got all the way to the end of New Design Road. Didn't see it. Turned around, went all the way back to the end. And understand, roads down here are like 5 miles long. Okay. So I got all the way to the other end, didn't see it. I called her up. I said, where is this place? And she says, well, it doesn't have a for sale sign on it yet, because I located this in the courthouse because there was a foreclosure. Okay. She says, did you see the property that had a house on it that doesn't belong in Surry? And there was. There was this one house, humongous Victorian mansion, and that was the property.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'll meet you there. So I met her there. We did our walkthrough. This was on a Wednesday. I remember it distinctly because I immediately called Diane up. She was still back up in the Boston area. I immediately called her up. I says, we just checked your dream house box. Okay, I need you to come down here right away. Okay, so we can sign the deal. It is priced right. Well, she couldn't break out of there on Wednesday, but she did arrive down here on Saturday morning. And we walked the property, walked the house, signed the papers, and boom, we had bought that afternoon.
And that's where the current winery is, correct?
That is where the winery is.
Okay.
That's right.
Good.
So we still have the first vineyard, and now we have our location for our winery and a location for our second vineyard. That's right.
Great.
And from the point we moved in, we started designing a winery, and it took about a year to build the winery up, which was a good thing because now we're getting more grapes. Okay, and fortunately we had a place to put them this time,
right?
Where it wasn't 120 degrees,
right?
So, and that was it was almost exactly 10 years ago because we're celebrating our 10th anniversary in November.
Well, congratulations, and I think that's a good segment for us to try. I have it in the fridge. I forgot to take it out. Let me grab it. you were kind enough to send me a bottle of your Goat Tower Chardonnay. So
That's right.
I'm gonna open it up and taste it. And I wanna talk to you now, Goat Tower, but I wanna touch on, you've got the winery, and you brought in some farm animals because we're sticking with the Green Acres theme here. So let me just taste this because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
nice!
right.
And this is an unoaked Chardonnay. So
That's correct.
I'm really excited because I really love unoaked Chardonnay.
Well, Diane, being a chemist, being very analytical, she likes to control the process. And she
Very
also
nice.
likes fruit-forward wines.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the theme with most of our wines. They're fruit-forward. If she likes the fruit, she wants you to taste the fruit.
Yes, you can definitely taste the pear and the peach. It's nice. It's crisp. It's got that slight minerality to it. Very nice.
That's right. Yeah, we're very, very happy with it.
Very, very nice. So, so now you've got your land, and you decide to bring in some farm animals. Did you ever think you were going to be a surrogate mother to a baby calf?
No, I never gave it that much thought. One of the things down here is if you have land you can't grow row crops on, you throw cattle on. Well, I had 9 acres already fenced in, but someone else had already made that determination. And I said, well, guess what? We got to throw cattle on them because I'm not going to have 9 acres doing absolutely nothing.
Right.
So I brought in 3 pregnant cows and threw them back there, and we've been raising red Angus cattle ever since. Now you're talking about being a surrogate mother. You're talking about Nicholas, which was I think this 3rd generation as far as cattle are concerned. He was born by a first-time mother on December 14th, and she dropped him in a pool of mud. Okay, and she had a choice, coldest day of the year, do I eat hay because I'm freezing my tail off, literally, or do I pull my calf out of the mud and lick the mud off? Doesn't sound really appetizing to me. So I went up there in the morning because I knew she was going to drop soon. And there was the calf, treading water in the mud. And I went back in the afternoon. I says, well, I better check on this calf. And by the time I got back there, it was like 4 in the afternoon. The only thing above the mud was its nostrils. And Mom was 20 feet away, chewing her hay. And it's a really tough position to be in because they say the number 1 cause of farmer's death is rollover tractor. Well, the number 2 cause of death for a farmer is death by cow. You get between a cow and its calf, you can't run fast enough. Right. You just can't. But I had a choice to make. Let me pull out this calf and hope Mom doesn't get excited, or the calf is going to die if I let it sit there overnight. So I opted to pull the calf out, covered with mud, and I cradled it in my arms, and Mom just watched as I walked off the field with her calf. And fortunately, we had one of our employees was a real horse person, and she helped us out significantly. Lori helped us out significantly, washing off the calf. We got heating pads because its legs were just frozen. We put it in. We made a little makeshift manger in the middle of the winery here, with flipped over tables and that kind of stuff. And started feeding it, some milk and that kind of thing. And I actually spent the night on the couch next to it. And the next morning it was at least up on all fours, and was taking milk, very eagerly, obviously. And we did that for about three days. Until it started getting some real strength and realizing that with really sharp calf hooves on concrete floors, it's like ice skating.
Mm-hmm.
And the calf just pushed the tables aside and was like a 4-year-old learning how to skate for the first time. And it was at that point where I says, okay, you can't live your life here in the winery. So I ended up, again, picking the calf up and carrying it back to the pasture and brought it up to the herd. And, the calf's looking at me like, I really want to go with you. You really got to stay with your own kind, okay? And hopefully they'll take care of you tonight, and I'll see you in the morning, kind of thing. As I raced out of the pasture, and the next morning I went up with my bottle of milk and fed it, and I did that twice a day for 3 months. And as soon as I would enter the pasture, it would come running down. It's like, here's Mom with dinner, with breakfast. And it got to the point where it was kind of funny. All the other cattle came running down after it saying, what's going on here? What's this special privilege crap? So I did that for 3 months, like I said. And some of the other calves, there were other calves born about the same time. They're all coming down. They want their milk. I said, no, you got Mom. But after 3 months, I started feeding it corn, pulverized corn, to get it on some hard stuff. And that's when I started feeding corn to some of the other calves, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I did that for another 3 months. And at that point, I said, okay, you're 6 months old. You're getting to be a big boy here. I had to wean him off.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that point, unfortunately, when I weaned him off, I'm absolutely sure the cows got together and talked about, Nicholas, he's one of them. Okay. You really can't trust him. I know it's your mom. So since then, he comes up, he says hi, he keeps his distance like a normal cow would or bull would, and he and I have sort of an agreement until he headbutts me, he's good. Okay, the minute he headbutts me, he's hamburger. Okay, but shy of that, you're the only one I've named. You're my pet bull. So.
So he's still with us.
He's still with us, and he hasn't headbutted me yet.
Good.
You can't control him like a pet. It's not like you can say, would you leave these other cattle somewhere else?
Right.
Forget it.
Right.
He's a bull.
Yeah.
They've indoctrinated him over, so there's not much I can do other than say hi to him and do well. So.
Now, talk to me about this goat tower. I had no idea what a goat tower was until I read your book and looked.
Well, understanding that Diane was a research chemist and I was from the plastics industry, when you decide to go into a business like this, you read anything you can read, just everything that comes in front of you. And you read the Robert Mondavi books. You read everything you can. And one of the books I read was The Great Wineries of the World. And I said, okay, good. If I walk out of this with one good idea, I'm a happy guy. And I'm reading through this book, and I get about 15 wineries into it, and they all sounded the same. They all make great wine, they all grow great grapes, blah, 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 blah. But then I came across a winery down in Fairview, South Africa, that had a goat tower. I said, this sounds cool. And so I started reading, and they actually had a lot of goats. But they had this goat tower, and they were like the second goat tower in the world kind of thing. The first goat tower was in Portugal. So I'm saying, this is really kind of neat. And you email them, and they're willing to sell you the plans for the goat tower for $4,000. I said, no way. There's no way. So I get hold of my architect for my building here, and I said, how much are you going to charge me for a set of plans for a goat tower? He said the same thing you did. What's a goat tower? But the second thing he said was $20,000. I I said $20,000 for a goat tower. I said, forget it. Okay, I'll design the goat tower. I'll have local tradesmen build it. It'll be a cool addition to the winery. And if you look at the 300 wineries in Virginia, if you're one of these people that goes off on a Saturday afternoon and pounds out 5 or 6 in an afternoon, after a while, you don't remember any of them.
Right.
They are all the same. But when people come and visit us, they remember us for the goat tower.
Yeah, you say, come for the wine, stay for the goats.
That's right. And they do. And it kind of forces you to relax because it's so humorous. And if you have kids, the kids go up and they feed the goats. In fact, the adults feed the goats and get just as excited as the kids. Yeah, we built the goat tower. Like I said, I designed it. I was going to save my $20,000 and give it to a bricklayer instead.
Right.
And we had a local bricklayer build it. And it took him about 5 weeks to go up 4 levels. It's 4 stories high, more or less. In goat speak, not in New York City speak.
Right.
And when he got to the top, he waves me over it, and there's over 5,000 bricks in this thing. He waves me over, and he says, "Dave, do you want to put in the last brick?" And I says, "I'm not going to take the last brick away from you. You've been here for 5 weeks doing this crazy project, but drop a plum. If it's not world record height, you're going higher." So he dropped a plum. He was plus 7 inches. I said, that's all I need. Put in the last brick. So he put in the last brick. And at that point, I needed to put a roof on this thing. And I designed a roof to match the roof of the house. We have a turret room in the house that has an 8-sided pointed roof. And I said, I want a roof to match that roof. So I designed it. And I hired another local tradesman who ended up building the roof in kit form down on the ground. And to understand this guy, he was mid-20s. Talking to him, his favorite show on TV was This Old House. And he did everything, with old-fashioned tools, that kind of thing. And he just built this thing in kit fashion on the ground and built it on top of the tower. 1 piece at a time. He went up a 30-foot ladder.
Wow.
1 piece at a time, and re-put the roof together. Now, the problem was he got all the way to the top, and he couldn't reach to put the antenna on.
Oh, no.
So he had to rent a high lifter to put the steeple point, the antenna on it, with the lightning rod. And it was a shame because of all the work he did going up the ladder 1 piece at a time. But when he put it up there and put the lightning rod on, it officially became the tallest goat tower in the world.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
You don't build a goat tower without a goal.
Yeah.
So I did that. I sent my letter off to try to get it, I guess, worldly approved at Guinness Book of World Records. And their comment back to me was, "You may have the tallest goat tower, but I'm not sending a surveyor out to prove it." I said, "Okay, then I'm going to proclaim it, and we'll see if anybody out there has proven me wrong."
Good for you.
Nobody has yet.
Good for you.
So it is still the tallest goat tower in the world.
Good for you.
And the goats actually live in it.
Yeah.
So it's great.
That is great. And they also go and you have them in the vineyards too for weed control and all that stuff, right?
I have what?
The goats go out in the vineyards for weed control and everything.
No, they don't.
They don't?
No, the goat's idea of weed control is eating the vineyard.
Oh. Okay.
No, I leave them in the pen.
Okay.
And they are, initially I got the goats because I thought I would do goat cheese and that kind of stuff. But I found I just did not have the time to go and milk them at the same time every day. I did cattle, I did outside sales. So I just didn't have the time. So right now the goats are kind of a showpiece.
Okay.
But when you visit other places when you do farmers markets or whatever, you'll hear these people that have visited and they remember the Goat Tower always.
Good.
Oh, I've been to your winery. I says, okay, if you've been to my winery, all I have to do is ask you one question. What do you remember? And if they don't remember the Goat Tower, they've never been.
They've never been. Yeah, they're full of shit.
They say, I remember the Goat Tower. I says, you've been there.
You've been there.
And that is what started our Goat Tower brand of wines.
Okay.
Which are having the Goat Tower Chardonnay.
Right.
And we've got 4 or 5 wines in the Goat Tower series. We've got a Merlot, we've got a Sangria, we've got a Vidal Blanc. That as we go out to the real world, we push the Goat Tower brand because it pulls people into the winery. It starts the conversation going. Okay. Which is great.
So, what other wines do you produce? Let's talk about your portfolio.
Well, we do a Norton blend. It's a Bacon's Castle Win, which is a combination of Norton and Petit Verdot that is getting great reviews from our customers. We do a Norton Blush, which is not a rosé. People call it a dry rosé, but it's really not a rosé. It's a blush. It's just the rich pink color from the grapes after we press them. And then we do probably our bestseller, well, not probably, it is our bestseller, is our Hog Island Sweet White, which is a muscadine wine. Okay. And if you remember, I made a little quip to you about M is for muscadine. Right. That is the nature of where we are. Muscadine grape grows from here all the way down to Key West. Very, very thick-skinned grape, so it handles the heat and humidity really well, and it makes a sweet wine. So that is it is our best seller here. So we make a lot of that.
And I saw you have a sweet Cheval Blanc too.
Vidal Blanc is under
Cheval Blanc.
Well, we did have a Cheval. Oh. We have a Cheval Blanc grape right now, and we used to have a Cheval Blanc varietal wine, and it tasted great. But the problem is when you go wholesale and it goes on the shelf, no one knows what it is.
Yeah, because they don't know the grape. Yeah.
They just don't know the grape, so it would sit there on the shelf. Even though it was a great wine. Yeah. So we use our Cheval Blanc now in our blends. Okay. We'll add it to our Hog Island Sweet White. When we have a really good yield, we'll have a Simply Cheval here, which is a semi-sweet wine that we have about every 3 or 4 years. Yes.
Oh, well, that's good. I like Cheval. I like it dry though, but it does it's a very versatile grape. So I don't want to keep you much longer because I know you're still in the midst of harvest and stuff. But what do you wish somebody told you before you started on this venture?
Wow. I'll tell you, if I had to talk to myself, I would say, I wish I started it 20 years sooner.
Really?
Yes. Don't wait for your retirement to decide you want something to do. Okay? This is a business that takes time. This is a business that is long-term goals. You're not going to enjoy the benefit of the vineyard and the winery the first half a dozen years. You're working way too hard in putting it all together. So I wished I started it sooner. When I was a younger guy, when I had a lot more energy, and I think it would be a lot bigger now. I think it'd be more in the direction of where we're trying to push it, whatever that means. But I think I would have started it sooner. Now, if someone else told me, if I was going to grab all of the comments that have been made in my direction and took them at heart, I probably would have built the winery right next to Williamsburg Winery.
Okay.
or put it up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Marketing is everything in this business. Everything. And if you're all alone, you're marketing only for yourself. But if you're right next to the biggest winery in the state, Williamsburg Winery, let them do the marketing. The people are going to drive by you, okay? And you'll get the foot traffic because of your location to them. And the same thing's true. Like I said, there's out of 300 wineries in the state, there's 290 of them in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Right.
You want to be next to them. You want their marketing to help your marketing. And if I reflect back on the error of my ways, it's being alone out here in Surry County. So all of our marketing, all of our sales efforts is to pull people in. And there's an awful lot of energy that's spent
I know.
just pulling people in to see what you got.
Yeah.
So that's probably the bit of advice I would have taken sooner than later.
Are there other wineries around where you are right now?
The closest one is, this sounds horrible the way I say it. Williamsburg Winery and Summerwind Winery are both within 20 miles of us.
Yeah, but that's 20 miles. That's far.
20 miles down here is a long distance.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me add something to that. Between me and Williamsburg Winery is the James River. Okay, that's like having a moat around your castle.
Oh yes, nobody crosses that moat. I know that feeling, coming from the Hudson Valley.
But we got a free ferry. Okay, it doesn't even cost you any money to cross the river. Okay, but boy, it's the number of people that come to us and say, "How's it feel to live on an island?" We don't live on an island. We're on the mainland. You're on a peninsula. To just convince people to cross the river. You know, I think they feel the Indians are still in high numbers here.
Right.
Then we have this problem. And the other one is 20 miles east of us in Smithfield, Virginia. So there's a great distance. So in this tidewater region, there's maybe a half a dozen wineries out of the 300.
Right.
That's not a lot.
Right.
And then you're trying to decide what grapes grow good here.
Right. Have the locals been, responsive to you? Like, I mean, because I know a lot of people don't know what's in their backyard, even if they don't know who's next door.
Let me tell you, I had a billboard in downtown Surry, and half the people in Surry didn't know I existed.
Right.
Okay, with a billboard.
Yeah.
They're in automatic.
Yeah.
They get in their car in the morning and they go to work.
Yeah.
To them, the billboard is a blur. But there are certain portions of Surry County that support us a lot. I mean, the heavy drinkers are down in Claremont. Okay. Everybody else likes to drink bourbon because they feel it's more manly.
Okay.
So to convince them, we got a winery right across. I don't drink wine. We have iced tea too. Let the kids feed the goats. You try to pull them in. Our greatest customer base is either from Williamsburg, those that do venture across the river, and Virginia Beach, which is 45 minutes east of us. And we get an awful lot of Virginia Beach people in the winter because they can't go east, because that's the ocean.
Right.
Okay, so they go west. They come and visit us during the winter months.
Well, that's good because the wintertime is usually slow time.
That's right. We get some of those people that really wish to dangle their feet in the water, but no, they can't.
Yeah, right. So can you tell everybody where they can find you online, in person, how to get to you?
The easiest way is to get to our website.
Okay.
Which is HamptonRoadsWinery.com. And we have a selection of wines on there. In fact, you're kind of hinting that I probably should update it.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, that's your storefront.
Well, that's right. I probably should update it, make sure it's accurate. So they can go there and click a button that goes to our store. We're a 3-tier operation. So we have to go through an online distributor to sell our wines out of state.
Okay.
So they'll click on the store, and the store will send them right to this online distributor, who in turn takes a nice cut, but we do all the work, and you can get your wines that way. We are in a couple local stores here, but to be very frank, and I think I hinted in the book about it, my experience with big box stores is kind of mixed.
Yeah.
Because they prefer to deal with the big boys. They prefer the big distributors.
So now, you know what, now we're turning into, the winter time, and you're going to have the snowbirds driving down to Florida for the winter. How can they find you to make a stop?
That's a great comment to make, because we do get a lot of snowbirds. One of the things we participate in is an organization called Harvest Host. And
the camping.
We participate with another one called RV Overnights, and then Good Sam's Club also. And what this does is it allows you with your RV, if you're driving down from New York State to go to Florida, this is a nice third of the way or halfway stop to park your RV on the edge of our parking lot. You have nothing but quiet there because we're out of the country.
Right.
And come in and enjoy some good wines. And we don't charge a thing for you to park. But we hope we have some wines that you like. So we do get a lot of people traveling back and forth, stopping over. It's really a nice thing. And also, when you're dealing with organizations like that, you get a lot of people that come and visit relatives that are in all the military bases. And this is big Navy country here. So they'll stop here and then they'll zip over to Norfolk or Virginia Beach to visit sons and daughters, kind of thing, which is really kind of nice there too. So we do offer that, and we really enjoy having people from out of state come and visit.
Good. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And remember, if you want to learn more and listen to his story, pick up his book. Where can they purchase the book?
That's on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's also on Barnes & Noble.
Okay, great.
Or they can buy it through our site. Either way.
Okay, great. Because I really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the triumphs and tribulations. Because so often people think they come into a winery, oh, this is great, you guys are successful, and they don't know what it took to get to the place you're at now. And
it's not for the weak at heart.
No, it's not. So I want to thank you, and I wish you the best, and have a successful rest of the harvest.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. Nice talking.
Yeah, nice chatting. And I'll come down and see you one of these days, because it's probably like an 6-7 hour drive, but I'll come down. I want to check out the goat tower.
I'll let you walk up it if you'd like.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Very good. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this edition of Uncork Your Mind. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with David Sheldon of Hampton Roads Winery and the author of You Can Wine Too. And if you're down in the Virginia area, please stop by and see him. And especially if you're a snowbird and you've got a camper and you're heading south, you can stay at his winery free of charge. Just contact them, and you can purchase his book, You Can Wine Too, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I am Debbie G. Aquindo, the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. You can find me on X, HV Wine Goddess, on Instagram, HV Wine Goddess, on Facebook, Hudson Valley Wine Goddess, online, HudsonValleyWineGoddess.com, and you can email me at Debbie, DEBBIE, at HudsonValleyWineGoddess.com. Thanks, and have a great day.